Time now for our science segment, and with a debate that has yet to be resolved over the origins of the COVID pandemic. Now, since coronavirus emerged more than 3 years ago, scientists, officials and intelligence experts have been divided as to whether the virus arose from a lab leak in Wuhan or was it naturally transmitted by an animal. According to American media, the US Energy Department now believes the accidental leak theory is far more likely. Joining me now is France 24's Shirli Sitbon. Shirli, reports say that new data received by the Energy Department comes with low confidence, and also US intelligence agencies still divided over this issue. Why are there so many divisions over what was the cause of COVID?
Well, because many possibilities exist, mainly those two theories you just mentioned. We know that labs in Wuhan work on those coronaviruses, as do other labs across the world. This, of course, to prevent and avert pandemics. They want to be ahead of what may happen in the world. So there is a possibility statistically that there could have been a leak from the lab, but there's no proof of that. And of course, it can also be natural. This coronavirus could have been transmitted naturally by an animal, but there's no proof of that either because no animal with that specific virus has been found yet. And of course, investigators have not spent enough time in the area to find out. There are probably Chinese investigators, but China has said for a long time that this is a natural transmission. That is their theory, and they say that any other theory is just conspiracy or just insulting China for various reasons, including diplomacy, et cetera, et cetera.
Now, the WHO has investigated the origins of COVID, but its experts are no longer allowed to examine evidence in Wuhan. So how do they manage, or intend to rather, continue with their probe?
Well, they can't really, but they're saying that they have not suspended their probe. We can see images when they were there last time. They were in the market in Wuhan. They visited various labs, including the famous Wuhan Institute of Virology. And they tried to collect evidence in many areas, but they weren't there for a long time. Their first conclusion was that there's probably unlikely that there was a lab leak, but that was just the first phase of their investigation. They were supposed to go back there very fast, and they asked the Chinese authorities for more data, which they did not collect. So we can see here, there are images from 2021 when the experts from the World Health Organization were there. So what's happening now is that they cannot return to China because Chinese authorities say the investigation for the World Health Organization is over, but the World Health Organization says it continues anyway in a larger way to try and work on epidemics in general, set procedures to investigate the origins of pandemics in general. But the magazine and newspaper Nature says that's basically shelving the investigation for now.
And whatever the origins of COVID, either natural or due to an accidental leak, many scientists say it's time, regardless, to improve regulations of some research methods.
Yes, and we can see an article that appeared recently in Nature as well, which speaks and reports on a meeting that was taking place in the U.S. Late January, where they wanted to decide on new regulations to avert catastrophes in the future if there is indeed a leak from U.S. labs or other labs, but they decided there should be regulations, better regulations, but they did not decide on a plan because they did not, there's a whole debate because some scientists say that if there are too many regulations, then really useful key research would be blocked. So there's a whole debate, are there more risks of carrying out dangerous, controversial research or not carrying out the research which could save lives in the future. So there's a whole debate, and that's what's going on now in the United States and also in Europe.
Thank you, Shirli Sitbon, for that.